Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2022, this fall, the album release, Cover Lover, the launch, the concert, the tour with Gabby Hanna, Dad, AF, Rock on Gold Dust, Woman, Beast. The show must go on even though I have some of this pink fuzz in my mouth. Anyway, it's not the first time I've had a hair in my mouth. All right, so let's get into bad humor. Bad humor, and listen, this week has been a week of bad humor because last night was the very first roast of Deaf Noodles, and I don't even know if I should say bad humor. There was no humor at this thing. So this is what we're going to talk about today. I have had an eventful day already. I hadn't really planned on making any videos because I went and I got my hair cut today. My husband took me. My husband, he just went to Chipotle to get lunch. So I have to make this video really, really fast. He got me Starbucks, so thank you so much to my husband for giving me Starbucks. And then tonight, his brother is flying in from San Diego to visit for a while, and we are going to the Hot Air Balloon Festival in Marion County, Indianapolis, which I'm really, really excited about. We're going with a bunch of friends and family, and it's going to be really cool. So I'm like, I got to get this video out about Deaf Noodles because people want to know what I think. Well, what do I think? I think it was an S.H.I. Toots show. I did not even know. Okay, so scrap that. I did a video yesterday talking about the downfall of Deaf Noodles and the decline of his career. Please go watch that video. I talked about pretty much every aspect of what is going on with him right now. It was interesting because I got a lot of comments from people that said, I really enjoyed the fact that you got right into the drama. Thank you. I guess you guys don't like my 6-minute intros anymore. So I'll just get right into the drama. Okay, so Deaf Noodles, Dennis, has been pushing out the fact that he has built this like studio comedy club. He called it a comedy club that he built, but basically it just looked like an office space with some folding chairs in it, and he called it a comedy club. I mean, when I think of comedy club, I think of like bar in the back, little round tables, a stage in the front, you know, very much like that movie Punchline. Did y'all see that? Am I like aging myself? Did you ever see the movie Punchline with Sally Field? Fantastic movie about stand-up comedians. But that's kind of what I think of, you know, every time I've ever gone to like some kind of comedy club in the past, and I've gone to a lot of comedy clubs in my life. I've always thought of like little round tables and, you know, a stage in front and whatever. And I know he doesn't have those resources, but still to brag so much about, I build a comedy club, I build a comedy club, I build a comedy club, I'm doing the first roast ever, I sold out tickets. It looked like there were about 20 people at this thing. And in fact, one of the comedians that came out said something like, hello to the 8 people that are here. And the whole audience kind of laughed, which I thought was interesting. So this is what happened. I had no plans on watching this thing. I don't think most people had any plans on watching this thing because Dennis didn't really market. He didn't really talk about the fact that he was going to post this anywhere. And what's interesting to me is that he actually, so I got tagged last night on Twitter that Dennis had his comedy show, his very first roast that he was doing, that he sold all of these tickets for, that he sold out in 5 days. Even in his like video, the last video where he's trying to sell these last 2 tickets, I'm like, last 2 tickets out of 20. So it took you 5 days to sell 20 tickets or 40 tickets or whatever. Like, you couldn't even sell out that quickly, you know, even though you... Anyway, I just was like blown away that he was like bragging so much about this, and this is what ended up happening. So he ended up posting the comedy roast on a different channel. It was not on his main channel, Deaf Noodles, which I think was a really big mistake for him. I think had he posted it... Oh, wait, what's this? Did he just do another... Oh my lord, he just posted a Catherine McBroom video 1 hour ago. Dennis, I thought you weren't doing YouTube drama anymore. I thought you were changing your... Oh, is this another one of your jokes? Is this another one of your jokes that you told us you were changing your content but you can't change it because your audience wouldn't understand. The same audience that you told to go F themselves. Which, by the way, I just want to say this. I got 1 or 2 comments on my video yesterday when people were like, stop being so mean to Deaf Noodles. Like, all of these drama commentary channels making commentary videos about him and talking about him, and everybody's saying stuff about Dennis. I don't know if you've been watching Dennis for a while, but are you aware of what Dennis does for a living? Like, Dennis literally makes video after video after a video, literally sometimes in a row, like I'm doing today, because I made a Deaf Noodles video yesterday and I'm making one today. He literally makes video after video after video of the same people day after day after day. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but like, pot, kettle, here you go. Okay, so anyway, he actually posted... I got tagged in this and somebody said, are you watching this live? And I was like, I didn't even know that it was live, this roast. So he actually posted it on, what was it on? Hold on a second. The Deaf Noodles show is where he posted it, okay? And it is still up. You can go see it. It's 1 hour and 33 minutes. And it's the first Super Roast battle. It is currently sitting at this Mega Million sold out comedy roast with the best comedians in LA. If those are the best comedians in LA, they better move to New York City because there was no comedy at this roast last night. And I'm sorry, there just wasn't. The jokes were bad, if they were any jokes at all. They were all like, it was all insult comedy, which has to be done really, really well if you're gonna do insult comedy. I think like Dennis is somebody that like thinks he has like studied and mastered the art of comedy so much that he thinks he's like the only one that really understands it, but he really doesn't understand it at all. And all of these comedians came out and it was just insult comedy. They just were insulting each other left and right, and the insults weren't even really that good. Like, I mean, these 2 guys that came out at the beginning that were roasting each other, were like roasting each other over like body shaming and things like that. It wasn't done well. It wasn't done humorously, and it was totally missed on the audience. I mean, the audience wasn't even laughing. And so anyway, this whole thing, it has 8.4 thousand views on it right now. Let's read some of the comments on here. Def is currently filming another one of those I'll do whatever I want videos. When Def's educating you with the barrel end of a shotgun but realizes that's too merciful, he hates you too much, so he pulls this out instead. People were like not happy with this. Dennis's neighbors are probably thinking this is the weirdest potluck they've ever been invited to and sticking around waiting for that keg he promised to show up. The real entertainment was seeing how many people can stand on that little stage. So he has this stage that he's so proud of that he built, right? Okay. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I came in, I would say, within like the first 5 or 10 minutes, because I got tagged in this thing by a couple different people. So I was like, okay, well, I reported on the whole Dennis Deaf Noodle situation yesterday. I might as well give him the benefit of the doubt, all right? And if he's funny, and if the roast is good, and if the comedy show comes off without a hitch, I will get in a video, and I will own it, and I will say, I'm really impressed, all right? I thought that, you know, all this stuff that he has built up around this, he has done something. Like, I'm really impressed with his comedy show. I am somebody that gives credit where credit is due. Unfortunately, I can't say that today in this video because it was crap. It was absolute crap, okay? First of all, he starts the video, all right? And then you have to wait 45 minutes. And I understand that this was his first time doing it and all that kind of stuff. Like, let's make all the excuses we can that we wouldn't give to somebody else, but we'll give them to Deaf Noodles. The whole show didn't start for 45 to 50 minutes. People literally were just like sitting in the audience. I mean, I thought to myself sitting there watching it, because I was doing other stuff. I was eating food that my husband had brought me home and things like that. I was watching Game Show Network. You know, I wasn't, like, I just had it on kind of in the background waiting for it to start. But I thought to myself, if I was sitting in that audience for 45 to 50 minutes, with every couple minutes, you know, Deaf Noodles running up on stage, being like, we're trying to figure things out, and this isn't working, and that's not working. Oh, and one guy's out in the alley smoking a blunt, sorry, you know, whatever. It just was so cringe. And then, like, it was really like amateur comedy, like where and this is my review. I have a review channel, so I can do this, okay? This is my review. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. So the comedy show starts, and it's these 3 guys that start the show, and they're kind of introducing the show, right? And on the right-hand side, Dennis has this like screen where like the comments from the show, from like where he's posting it live, are running, okay? So these guys keep on referencing the screen and like what people are commenting in the live stream of the comment sections, right? And they're making all these jokes. Now let me tell you the premise of the first 10 minutes of the roast, okay? Dennis, who does not care about the haters and the trolls, even though he keeps on defending himself against the haters and the trolls and the fake fans and all this kind of stuff. The entire first 10 to 15 minutes of this roast with these three comedians that literally there was no humor to their comedy whatsoever, talked about getting high, getting drunk, trolls on YouTube, asking the audience, what is your name on YouTube? Do you know Deaf Noodles from YouTube? Are you a hater? Are you a troll? Do you like Deaf Noodles? It was all about the trolling on YouTube. It was all about the trolling on YouTube. And I'm sitting there watching this and I'm like, so you have built up this comedy club and everything you've built, okay, to sit there and then have these three comedians and yourself go after the trolls yet again? Like, you are so bothered by people criticizing you. You can't take any criticism whatsoever, all right? I mean, it is so, to me at this point, so little about the fact that you are a 37-year-old man that said you were in your 20s. It's about the fact that you're a 37-year-old man that acts like you're in your 20s, because you can't take any kind of criticism whatsoever, all right? Not to mention having to, like, allegedly lying about things. Like, he came out and was posting yesterday about all these people signing up for his Patreon account. He said, oh, 88 people just signed up for my Patreon account. All right, let's go over to your Patreon for a second. So here it is. I pulled up his Patreon today, and you can select a membership level. $5 a month. You get access to all of the member posts, behind the scenes footage, as well as outtakes. This will be exclusive content that will not be uploaded anywhere else on the internet. For $15 a month, you get everything from Tier 1, as well as access to an exclusive Patreon Gold Discord channel, as well as access to weekly live streams here on Patreon. And then for $50 a month, everything from Tiers 1 and 2, as well as access to exclusive Discord. But wait, it gets even better. Plus, members also get their names featured. I always think this is so corny when people do this. Plus, members get their names featured in the credits of the daily videos published on Deaf Noodles. Oh my God! You get your name mentioned on there. Okay. So anyway, I always just think that that's so corny. But what's even more interesting about this is when you go underneath here for the posts, okay? So for example, he posted this thing 10 hours ago. It has 2 likes on it. Okay. Then he posted this thing 20 hours ago. It has 5 likes on it. Okay. Then he posted this thing 2 days ago. It has 1 like on it. So 2 likes, 5 likes, 1 like, 88 new subscribers. I ain't buying it, okay? The math don't fit for this one. I'm not believing that anybody's signing up for this Patreon. I think this is another thing that Dennis is doing that is smoke and mirrors of him acting like, let me build up this big thing. Oh, I've got a comedy club, okay? It's Dennis's comedy club. I've got 100 seats and a bar and waitresses and, oh my God, and I got some of the best comedians in LA. I mean, whatever. I've roasted you more in the intro to this video than you roasted anybody in that roast last night. That roast was so lame. It was so embarrassing. It was so cringe to watch. And not only that, okay, he gets banned. So I watched some of this thing. I won't say I watched the whole thing because I didn't. I would say I watched about half of it. It really, to be honest with you, the comedy was so bad, but it was also so kind of like indirectly offensive. It was like, you know, like when people are like really trying to be funny, so they just use like the the F word, you know, constantly. And then it's like, if I use the F word enough and I just throw it out there with insult comedy, then that makes me really funny. No, what that makes you is reliant on those F words, okay? I mean, there are some truly hilarious comedians out there that I feel like are geniuses. Like, I feel like to be a comedian, to be a really good comedian, is taking a look at different things and being a genius at it. If you guys want to see a great show about comedy, the show Hacks that came out, they just had like the first 2 seasons, I think it was the first 2 seasons, with Jean Smart, where she's had a residency in Las Vegas as a long-term stand-up comedian, and then she has this girl that she works with that comes in and like writes the material for her. When the whole show talks kind of about taking your real life and turning it into comedy. It's not just about, I mean, insult comedy is one thing, but like there was no jokes, okay? So here's the deal with the roast. Are you ready? The person it was like a round robin roast. Like they picked 2 names and the winner went on to the next round and that kind of thing, right? And then the very last person standing got to go up against Dennis. He should be so embarrassed of coming out and claiming to be a comedian. No jokes did he have whatsoever. If he had any, they didn't land. He stood up there and didn't even say anything for some of it. It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh my God, okay? And then this one comedian was using like F slurs and things like that and got him banned from Twitch. So your first ever roast, okay, completely bombed. It failed. I'm literally reading on Twitter last night, and it was like, I mean, it was massive, you guys. It wasn't just like every few kind of tweets. It was like, if you put in Deaf Noodles and searched it last night, everybody was like, this was horrible. I even tweeted out, and I never tweet stuff like this out. I said, this was so painful to watch, okay? Every person that commented on the Deaf Noodles roast last night was like, this was bad, this was horrible, yada, yada, yada. You know who the only person that wasn't saying it was horrible was? Deaf Noodles. He couldn't even take the L on this, okay? He couldn't even come out and say, hey, you guys, I know we have a lot to work on, but thank you for attending my first show. Hopefully the next one's a little bit better, okay? Like, there is no room for growth there whatsoever. He is literally, like, one of the biggest turnoffs to me ever in life is somebody that is unteachable and cannot grow or learn because they know everything. He literally knows everything. You could not tell this man anything. Like, he knows everything. And let me tell you something, Dennis, that you don't know yet because you know everything, but everybody else knows except for you, is that your career is over. Like, you have literally ruined your career. And now this roast that you so built up, that you have promised people that this roast and this comedy club is going to be the biggest thing ever, turned into the biggest joke last night. There was like this Discord last night on Twitter, and people were talking all about what was going on and all this kind of stuff. And there were a lot of commentary channels in there. I mean, they were like, this is sad. Like, this is really sad that at this point, like, you know, this is what's going on. And this is the thing. A lot of people yesterday, you know, were like, oh, I feel kind of sympathetic for him too, except for that he's so arrogant that he's standing in his own way. And people were like, something's really going on with him. Remember this, okay? When you watch the videos, and his family was at his roast yesterday, he has said in there, I am surrounded by friends and family, and they know that I am okay, that I am the same exact way that I was 2 to 3 years ago. He's telling us that, okay? He's telling us that nothing is going on with him, that he is the exact same way that he was 2 to 3 years ago, that everything is okay. He's telling us that, right? So if that's the case, and this is just arrogance, ego, and pride. So let me tell you where this arrogance, ego, and pride took him last night on Twitter. Are you ready? Okay. Let me get into my receipts. Whitney, whatever you want. Okay, so somebody tweeted and said, after watching a Deaf Noodles comedy show, I want to educate myself at the end of a shotgun. And his response to that, retweeting it, is, well, don't let me stop you. So then somebody said, literally no one liked Deaf Noodles roast. The T channels hated it. The community channels hated it. No one found it funny. And his response to that was, thanks for watching. Okay? Then somebody put this video clip up at the end, which was he and this girl at the very end, and it was so cringe. It was him just standing there, and he said, like, I bet you're from Detroit. And she goes, no. Like, his jokes, you guys, like, the fact that Deaf Noodles... Here, let me give you some advice, okay? Dennis, I get that you really want to be a comedian. I get that that really means something to you. Then reach out. You say you have all these connections in Hollywood and Los Angeles and whatever. Then reach out to a couple comedians and ask them if you can apprentice under them. Ask them if you can, like, you know, go and sit by them while they're writing their jokes, while they're doing stand-up, you know? Find some writers that work on comedy shows in Hollywood and say, can you kind of tell me your process? Because your process, your jokes are not funny. And I'm not saying that to be mean. What I'm saying is, if you want to improve at your craft, and comedy is a craft, just like singing. just like gardening, just like crocheting, just like anything else is a craft, okay? You know, if you want to be better at your talent, go study underneath some people that can really teach you what to be a better comedian, because you're not. Your jokes are not funny. They aren't landing. And listen, you can build the best comedy club in the entire world. You can build that comedy club that I was talking about with 100 round tables and the most fantastic stage in the entire world. That still does not make you a comedian. It just doesn't. It just doesn't, you know? You want to own and host a comedy club, that's one thing. But to say that you're a comedian when you're hurting people, you're offensive to people, and your jokes aren't funny, isn't funny. But if you want to be a comedian, okay? Listen, I think any dream can be accomplished at any age. Go apprentice under somebody. Ask them to help you to be a better comedian. You know what I mean? Like, I think anybody could do that with whatever talent. And I'm being completely sincere about this, right? Humble yourself enough to say, maybe people are right, and maybe my jokes aren't funny, and maybe I could learn something from somebody else. Maybe I could learn from a comedian who I really respect. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'll help me. So anyway, this person who apparently Deaf Noodles asked to be in the show, he like posted this thing and said, remember, this is what he wanted me on, LMAO. This is his show of the century. He's now banned from Twitch after someone dropped the F slur. It doesn't get more effing hilarious, ironic, man. Guy is almost 40, just showing himself losing daily. It was quite exactly what I expected. He responds to this and says, this man was too P-U, you know the word, okay, to show up. Now he's trying to talk. STFU and pull up if you're a big SHI toot, Mr. Twitter Fingers. Well, I'll tell you right now, okay? And anybody can say this to me and I don't really care. I know I'm funny, all right? But I also know I'm no comedian. I don't think I could probably do 10 or 15 minutes in a stand-up without really writing it down and practicing it. And I just don't think I could. And I don't claim to be that kind of comedian, okay? Do I know that when I came out at 18 years old, I was raised by a bunch of drag queens that shaded the hell out of me, and I can throw shade at somebody like nobody's business? And I can tell you right now, I could have thrown so much shade on that stage last night, he wouldn't have known if he was coming or going, asking somebody if they're coming from Detroit. What kind of joke is that? That's stupid, all right? You know, I mean, just his jokes were stupid. And I don't claim to be any kind of comedian, but I don't have to fly to Los Angeles, okay, and put up and shut up to prove that and show that. And quite frankly, I would be embarrassed to go to this show to just show that, oh, I'm going to put up or show up to whatever. Okay, I don't think he's going to get much more talent to roast him unless people are going to be like, you know, whatever. And here's my question, too. He's so quick to defend, you know, Ethan Klein and H3 and all that kind of stuff. Where was Ethan Klein last night? Where was Ethan Klein? Where has Ethan Klein been in the downfall of Deaf Noodles? Where has Ethan Klein been for his little buddy? Like, I'm so confused, right? Okay, so anyway, so he says that, and then this was great because then his name was trending because everybody was talking about this roast. Nobody watched the roast, okay? Like when I was in there, I think like at most it was like 200 or 300 people at a time were watching it. And what I have to tell you was hilarious was that I got a lot of comments from people that were saying to me that they were watching it through other people. I guess Paige Christie did like a live stream where she was watching it and commenting on it. I wish I had known that people were live streaming and commenting on it, because that would have been so hilarious. I would have loved it. I wish I had thought about doing that. I'm just like so silly. I don't even think about that stuff, right? So people were actually watching the comedy roast in people's live streams, like on Twitch, I guess, and stuff. So they were watching other people comment on it, which I think is genius. I wish I had done that. But anyway, so there were really not that many people in there. But a lot of people were talking about it afterwards. I mean, more people were talking about it afterwards than were at the actual roast itself, right? So then he says on here, breaking news that will most definitely change your life. Deaf Noodles trending on Twitter, rising to the 22nd spot in America after producing a very successful roast battle and absolutely killing it. It was so embarrassing and so cringe, okay? Then, these are the comments underneath it. We can't all deal with failure gracefully. Somebody said, yeah, baby, sure, you did great. We all laughed, giggled even, get some rest. Somebody said, is this satire? Somebody said, you're like a dollar store comedian at a city intersection. Somebody said, that was a crime scene. Somebody said, this is that satire you keep talking about, right? Because, yeah. I mean, it is just, the comments were just ruthless, all right? Somebody, and then he said, who could have seen this coming? Deaf Noodles banned on Twitch and currently trending on Twitter. Then he said, who could have seen this coming? Deaf Noodles now trending 19 in America, above the NFL and many other successful entertainment brands, exclusively proving the roast battles were a success. No, actually, Dennis, what it is that you can't take the L and say that maybe I have some things to learn from, okay? And I think that that's really where you see some growth in the world. And it's not comedy and it's not funny. And anybody that wants to really, truly see the comedic value of Deaf Noodles, I suggest you to go watch the live stream that he still has up on his channel, where you can watch an hour and 33 minutes of the biggest crap show of a roast that you have ever seen, where there are literally no jokes from him or the other comedians. I didn't think the other comedians were that funny either. And it just was, it was embarrassing. It was so sad and cringe to watch, you know, and it's like people were tweeting out things like, I'm literally watching him destroy his career, like as I'm sitting here watching this. I mean, it was like the consensus was constant, right? And I was going to go in and read some more comments, but you can go in and read the comments yourself. Anyway, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. You know, how many tickets are you going to sell to the next one? 4? All right. Okay. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.